And this morning, a 19-year-old is facing attempted murder charges. Kelvin Fuller is accused of stabbing his coworker. Investigators say he attacked a woman inside the Walmart in Collinsville on Wednesday. According to court documents, video shows him attacking her with a knife. She remains in the hospital. Fuller told investigators he felt disrespected by the victim.
Welcome to the Two Sides of Truth podcast with Greg. I am your host, and around here we do the humble and not the most, because nowadays people are just doing way too much, and I mean way too much. Truth Seekers, thank you for joining me on another episode. Wherever you are in this crazy world we in, whether it is morning, evening, or night, I pray that you are having or have had a wonderful, blessed day. It is 2026. You made it. Even though it's the infancy of 2026, you still made it, and that counts for something. Let's not waste this year. Let's not waste this year on bad choices, bad decision making. Every time I do one of these episodes, I try to find a different angle to come up with, and it seems like I keep circling back. No matter which direction I go, I keep coming back to choices that we make. Choices that would either better our lives, choices that will uplift our lives, or choices that will put us in a trick bag. You might be saying, what is a trick bag? A trick bag is a bad predicament, a bad situation. And in this year, I don't want to be put in a bad situation, especially by my own actions. A quick update. If you're familiar with this podcast in any way, you know that one of my earlier episodes, I did a piece on a young man by the name of Tyler Matthew Johns. And he was the individual who, in a fit of road rage, shot into the back of a vehicle and unalived an 11-year-old child on the way to school. I remember in that episode, I was trying my best to look at his possible charges and the length of time he could possibly serve, and I was way off. For some reason, I didn't remember or recall that Nevada actually has a death penalty. And that brother is facing death. I was looking at the case, and I was like, wow. You know, there is two options on the table for this 22-year-old who lost his temper. Bad choice. Who made bad decisions. And that decision is now placing him inside of a trick bag where it's life or death penalty. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being 22 years old? Well, eliminate 22 for now. That plays a role in what I'm where I'm going. But at any age, 32, 42, 52, 60, can you imagine your options spending the rest of your life in prison or death penalty? That's crazy. That is crazy, regardless of age. But 22, because you're so young. The world, as they say, the world is your oyster. So many options were available to you. So many different avenues you could have chose. But yet, ego got in the way. Tempers flared. And you decided to shoot your gun. Like this is the Wild West days, and it makes you so tough because you got a gun. Like they stopped making guns when they made yours. That's crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. Before we get into today's main story. I'm 19, 20 years old at the time, so you're talking about over 20 years ago. And I'm working in this place. They built rubber gaskets for spacecrafts, right, and airplanes. And I always believed in working. That's just always, growing up, my pops always told me if a man don't work, he don't eat, right? And that was always embedded into my psyche. I have to work. I have to provide. That's who I am. I'm a provider and a protector. That's just my nature. Since I was young. And so at the time, I'm 19 years of age, and 19, 20-ish, And my boy, he's straight out the hood. My boy straight out the hood. He like, hey man, why you dress nice and you got a car and you keep money, man, what's going on? And I told him, I'm like, hey man, I'm working over here at this place. And he goes, you think you could look out for me? You think you could get me in? And I say, well, I'm gonna be honest, I thought about it. In my head, I'm thinking, but I'm like, you know what? Everybody deserves a shot, regardless of what it looks like. Who am I? Who am I to judge anybody? So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'll go talk to who I need to talk to. And I say, put your application in. And I can't guarantee the job, but at least I could do is get you an interview, right? Sure enough, I talked to who I needed to talk to, get him the interview. This brother walked in there. This brother walked into this interview. Let me say this. I have never been so embarrassed in my entire life. In my 42 years of living, I have never been so embarrassed in my life. I go to these people and I'm putting in a word for this brother so I can help him out of his situation. And this brother walks into the interview, pants halfway to his knees. I'm like, the brother got a half fro. I mean, his hair, half of the fro is froed out. The other half is braided. Like he got the plaid coming down. And I'm like, are you? And then he sits, check this out. He sits in the chair because I seen him come in the door and where my desk was, I can look. This brother is sitting in the chair like this. Yeah. Yep. And I'm like, I was so embarrassed. I'm not even finna lie to y'all. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I'm gonna be real. I was so embarrassed that when that man left that building, he tried to look at me and say hi. I looked the other way. I was like this. I wasn't looking at you. Are you crazy? And then the supervisor comes. He say, hey, Greg, can I talk to you? I'm like, oh no. What's going on, man? He say, the gentleman that you referred, what was that about? Now I'm sitting here playing crazy. I know full well what I just seen. When I'm playing crazy, what happened? He says, well, I hate to sound judgmental, but he came in here looking like a criminal. He said, Greg, I'm not biased, because I'm myself at the time. I was from the hood. You know what I mean? This dude gave me a shot. But I was fortunate enough to have the type of knowledge to, your appearance matter. The way you carry yourself matters. And I know a lot of people don't like, when people say stuff like this, but especially when you're a person of color, it matters. And I'm going somewhere with this. I'm not trying to be preachy or I'm just stating the obvious. It matters. And so I'm going to be honest with y'all. I lied out my teeth. I said, what? I'm so shocked. That's so unlike him. Boy, I changed my voice and everything. I was so upset and embarrassed. And he said, well, unfortunately, I won't be able to offer him the position. I said, of course not. I completely understand. When I got out of that office, I went and sat at my desk and I was fuming. I couldn't wait to get home and talk to this guy. And at the time, if I was 19, 20-ish, he's 17, 18, right? So you're talking about over 20 years ago. And it's funny because years later down the line, when I brought up to him, when we talked about what happened, he just laughed and he said, man, I can't believe I was so dumb to do something like that. He said, you were embarrassed. I was the one he said, I'm embarrassed of myself when I look back on it. Because you see, when you're young, you're expected to make certain mistakes. Your brain is still developing. That's not a bad thing. It's nature. It's the laws of nature. Your brain is still developing until like 24, 25, something around there. Somebody correct me. But there are certain levels in the church, right, there's a saying in the church where they say, not one sin is greater than the other. Whether that's true or not is debatable. But in this world that we're living in, there are certain crimes and actions that I shouldn't say crimes, but more so actions. There's certain actions that a person can take upon themselves that can, and it's greater than if you do something else. You see, when he's 19, he can rebound from that. When you're 17, 18, 19, and you walk into an interview and you looking like an extra off Boys in the Hood, you can rebound from that. You go change your appearance, dress like you got some common sense and some class, and you go fix that. No problem, no sweat. Can't nobody, man, look, we all make mistakes. It's a mistake. But today, we're talking about an individual who committed a certain crime that it's going to take him, if he gets the rebound from this, that's a big if, the rest of his life trying to repair. Watch this.
Yeah, all I know about 6 foot tall dreads in the back. That's all I know. Conscious breathing. She's got a wound in the neck.
Stop recording her. Stop recording her.
Where are we?
Who's recording her?
Don't worry about that right now.
Stop recording her.
Let's wrap it up. She's been stabbed.
She's stabbed in the back and she's stabbed in her neck.
You got gloves on you? Here,
Look,
put this on your back.
look, this is open.
Okay, yep, I got that.
What's good, man? What's going on?
Looking for me.
You Kelvin? All right, well, you're going to get on the ground then.
Got on the parking lot of
138, I have the subject at gunpoint. Subject at gunpoint. Put your hands way out to the side, brother. Right in the small of your back. Right by your ass.
21, what's his space?
Could we get a patrol unit to respond over here?
Get your keys, nothing gonna poke me, stab me, or hurt me, anything like that? Any blood or anything on you?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Be advised,
I'm
140
gonna check
out
your
with
rear
me
end,
also.
okay?
Whew, it's too hot to be out here running around like this, man.
One side for me.
Come on now.
Check your front, okay? Oh, my keys. Can I grab them? Yeah. You're gonna stab me, right? You're not an IV drug user or nothing?
Man, I only did that, bro. She just disrespected me.
Okay. We'll figure that
This.
all out.
I just wanna make sure I got nothing stuff.
You see, this young man, Kelvin Fuller, and let me say this. Let me really get this off my chest. I don't know the young man. Just anybody I've ever done a podcast, I don't know these people, but I love you, and I genuinely mean that. I really love you because I love human beings, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of background, regardless of skin color, regardless of where you come from. You know, when I was young, they used to have a saying, it's not where you from, it's how you come. I just love people, right? So he did something that was terrible, that was heinous. It's egregious, but he still a human being. So by right, I still have to love him. So what I'm saying, I say all that to say this. What I'm about to say is coming from a place of love, not from a place of being judgmental. Kevin Fuller, Collinsville, Illinois, which by definition, if you're looking at the national average and statistics that are provided on a public database, this is a safe place to live, relatively. It is a place to raise a family. Right, it's about 4 hours away from Chicago, and this Walmart. You have they didn't really give her name. They didn't offer her name, and so I'm gonna be respectful to that as well. What is known? She's a 29-year-old mother of two. I believe she's 29, mother of two. Right, she's working at Walmart in Collinsville. And she's standing behind the deli. And I believe she had only been there a few weeks. She had just got the job. And she's facing another coworker, and she's talking to him when 19-year-old Kelvin comes from behind her and places a knife to her throat. Now, according to Kelvin, he slides the knife from one end of her throat to the other, not cutting her. According to him, he felt disrespected, so he wanted to inflict fear upon her. She wasn't going for it, so she tried to wrestle him off and breaks away. This infuriates him, and he takes his knife and he stabbed her in the neck and back area. One report said 5 times, another report said 7. Thank God that she had certain co-workers on the scene who rushed. I mean, they were grabbing towels and anything they could do to stop the bleeding, placing it against her neck, her back area, and trying to stop this bleeding. Police arrived to the scene. They track him down. It looked like he was in this apartment complex area, fully cooperative. And as soon as they pull up, he had the nerve to say, "Oh, you guys looking for me?" No, duh. Yeah, we looking for you. They place him in cuffs. He show him where the knife is. And what I found was so telling in the interrogation footage, he admits that after he stabbed her, he went looking for her, but he couldn't find her. But he alludes to the police officers that if he had found her, he indicated to them that if he had found her, he was going to finish the job. And he also stated that he thought that the damage he already inflicted was enough to, unalive her. What is going on with our young people? Me and my wife was at a dinner date with this couple, much older than us, and I look up to them a lot. They're very, very near and dear to my heart. And as we're sitting at the table, I'm talking to the gentleman who I respect, and he poses a question. He says, "What happened to our young people? When did we lose them?" He said, and that stuck with me. He said, "When did we lose our young people? When did the older generation lose the influence?" That's a massive question that you just can't answer off the top of your head. And I immediately went into my defense mechanism kicked in, and I'm trying to play the defensive role, like, maybe they dress like that because of hip hop or because of sports, and you know how it is when you're young, you want to get to the bag, and But the more he kept explaining the uptick in crime and the way our young men are carrying, young women are carrying themselves, I started to run out of excuses. Because he's right. I don't understand the mentality of today's young. And I'm not beating you guys down. That's not the point. I'm simply trying to tell you that the choices and the actions and the decisions that you are making is going to lead you into a dead end. There's levels. And this man chose the highest level. He went full blown into his crime mode simply because I felt disrespected. So since you felt disrespected, you take gloves and knife to work and to go unalive your coworker? What is going on with our young people? What is going on? 19-year-old man, you just threw your life away. It's like you walked next to a trash can and just dived head on in it and said, this is what I'm going to be for the rest of my life. You threw your life away. In the 90s, they used to have these commercials. They were called the crash dummy commercials, where our young people today get their phrase crash out. Y'all got that from us. In the 90s, they would put this crash dummy in a car, and the car would go top speed into a brick wall. Boom! That's what you're doing. You're being a crash dummy. And for what? I have a question. I have a serious question. I'm not even trying to be funny. Is it corny? Is it corny to go to school, trade school, college, finish high school, get a 9-to-5? Is it corny to find somebody that you love and try to build a future, a family? Go to the movies, go make groceries, come home, kick your feet up, go on family vacation. Is that corny now? And maybe I'm out of touch. I'm only 42, but maybe I'm out of touch with the young generation. Maybe y'all looking at that like, nah, I'm good. I don't want that. I don't want that. I seen in the comment where somebody was saying, well, you know, someone placed a comment was like, dude, you know, you had a good job. And somebody was like, well, he was working at Walmart. Man, do not despise small beginnings. Don't despise small beginnings. So what? He was working at Walmart. He was making an honest pay, an honest living. He didn't have to look over his shoulders. I remember looking at an article years ago about this guy who worked at Pizza Hut. And he said how his friends made fun of him because year after year after year, he's still at this Pizza Hut from his teens into his 20s and 30s. And people would always say, man, you still at that Pizza Hut? You still at that Pizza Hut? Guess what? That man not only became a manager, but he became regional manager. And 20 some odd years later, he oversees dozens of Pizza Huts. Do not despise small beginnings. I don't care if he was working at Walmart. It was still a job and a means to provide him a better life, right? And I believe, if somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but Walmart even have educational incentives for its workers. So he could even use that avenue to further his education. I don't know. Maybe school isn't for everybody. I don't know. I'm simply saying to throw your life away. And now you're in this perplexing dilemma, right? To where you're facing, and as I was looking at it, on the low ball, you know, if he gets a judge that's just super compassionate and just, you know, just soft, he's still looking at 10 years. 19, that put him at 29-ish, you know, 30. He's still looking at 19 getting out when you're 29, 30. All right? But on the higher end, and it was a class X felony. And the woman was walking away. All the aggravated assault, attempted murder, these compile. These compile. So realistically, from what I was reading, he's looking at anywhere between 30 to 60. I want you to imagine that 30 to 60 years locked in a cage. In a cage. You're 19. You won't get out till you're 50, 60 plus. Remember that movie, Don't Be a Menace to Society While Drinking Your Gin and Juice in the Hood? Even though it was a comical movie, it had a scene in there that had a layer of truth. And it, to me, when I look at brothers like Kelvin Fuller, I thought about that.
I go back to jail, you know?
Oh, man, I ain't worried about jail, man. I don't give a damn about going to jail. Nigga, take me to jail.
Take me to jail?
Shit, lock me up.
Lock me up.
Throw away the key.
Because in the movie, he said, lock me up, throw away the key. I don't care about jail. I don't understand what is this weird infatuation with, you know what, I don't care, I'll go to prison. It's all good. Somebody played a song for me where this young rapper was saying, we can bang it out and not go to the pen. I'm like, what? I don't know. Do y'all think that it's fairy tales? The horror stories that come out of the penitentiary? And I'm not saying be some punk or be soft or be afraid of prison. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, who wakes up and decide, you know what? If somebody disrespect me, I'm gonna unalive them because I don't fear prison. Something is off up here. That is abnormal thinking. That is abnormal thinking. And if you're one of those people that don't believe these stories really happen in jail, people being assaulted, people being harmed, unalived, man, you better wake up. I know people be like, oh, he always on here talking about prison and stuff be going on. He don't know. Man, please watch this.
The most memorable story that Fleece told us was about the place and importance that booty has in a maximum security penitentiary. And he went on about it and on about it.
In his prison, booty was more important than food. Booty, a man's butt. It was more important. I'm serious. It was more booty, having some booty was more important than drinking water, man. When I see one, and he looks good to me. When I go see him, I say, you come here. I say, I'm telling you what, I like you, and I want you. And we can do it the easy way or the hard way. So the choice is yours, right? And it was always yes.
Johnson also had a warning for the new generation of inmates.
Now, some people might find that funny. This dude is what they call, quote unquote, a booty warrior. And there's many more just like him who sit in prison and prey on young men. And you heard what the guy said. He approached young men and tell them we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And these tough dudes who out here unaliving people, shooting and stabbing, and these hardcore gangsters get in prison. And when this man said we could do it the easy way or the hard way, they choose the easy way and allow someone to take their manhood. This is what you're asking for. A prison guard telling you what time to eat, what time to sleep, what time to get up. This is what you're like. I don't get that. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one that's confused. But Kelvin Fuller, you're in the pickle, boy. You're in the pickle. Now, I know that today's generation is very, how can I put this without sounding disrespectful? Ethereal. That's a good word, ethereal. Basically, you're delicate. It's hard to say something to you without offending you, right? So I'm not trying to offend you. It's almost like my attempt at like a scare tactic. I'm trying to scare you into to understanding. If you throw your life away, death or penalty, the death penalty or life is the only thing that awaits you, or you're gonna spend the rest of your life trying to repair your reputation. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you don't care. Thank God the woman, the victim, she did survive. I believe they said she had 2 or 3 operations due to all the lacerations that this young man caused her to have. But she's still here in 2026 for her family, for her 2 children. They don't have to be wards of the state. They don't have to be another statistic growing up without a parent. I'm going to say this, and in closing, I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to ruffle some feathers, but I have to say this. What we do as people of color, as black people, matters, right? When I was young, they used to say things like, when a black person moving into a predominantly non-black neighborhood or a white neighborhood, whatever you want to call it. There goes the neighborhood. Be honest. Who ever heard that? Be honest. There goes the neighborhood. There goes because in their mind, oh, here we go. Here we go. Or especially with with today's modern technology, anything that happens is always in your face. And then you go on YouTube and you look at it, and then you scroll down and start looking at the comments. And every time it's a person of color or black, especially a black person, you see comments like usual suspects. Or I seen one a few weeks ago where it says, what else do you expect from people like this? And those are harmful preconceived notions. But when we do stuff like this, metaphorically, you are giving people the ammunition they need to create these narratives and to create these harmful, damaging preconceived notions. When black people go out there, and I'm not dumb, I know that crimes are committed. More white people commit more crimes against more white people. More Latinos commit more crimes against Latinos. Asians against Asians. I understand that, but can we stop the bull jive? Can we get real for a second? In this country that we live in, black people are under a microscope, and you better work your butt off for everything you have. And when you going into a Walmart or whatever you are, and you decide that you want to be a full-blown criminal, you making it bad for all of us. I know a lot of people think that is a poor way of thinking, but it is the truth, whether you want to believe it or not. You can put your hand in the sand. You can put your head in the sand, excuse me, and bury it in sand and act like what I'm saying ain't real. But I don't live in a fairy tale land. I live in reality. I hear what people say. I read comments. I really do this. And when you're out here doing the type of things that can you imagine being a patron of that store, walking inside that store, and you see this dude over there, this young black man, and he's stabbing somebody repeatedly? Can you imagine what was going through people's mind? Just imagine it. Look, I told you. Look how they act. I told you they were monsters. I told you they were evil. I told you can't take him anywhere. I told you can take the boy out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the boy. Those are the type of narratives that will be created because of poor judgment and poor actions. And the sad part about it, that don't even represent, what black people are. I was gonna say black culture, but I'm not too happy with black culture right now. I'm not too happy with too many cultures in general, not just black. I don't want to seem like I'm bringing a hammer down just on black people. The American culture in general needs some refinement. We're in a bad place. It seems like people are not getting along. We don't love the way we should. We don't look out for each other the way we should. We're always pointing the finger. It's just not a good place, right? But from the perspective of a black man and dealing with what I deal with every day, we have to stop giving people ammunition to shoot at us. Metaphorically, I have to say that. This is metaphorically. I don't want nobody to get my channel struck down, but that's all I'm saying. Anyway, it's time for our toast. This is the 2026 toast, right? I don't know why I'm pouring that. I already got my drink. Actually, y'all see my cup? Y'all see the cup? I'm going to need prayer, y'all. I'm going to need so much prayer. We're going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. We don't got Nick Bosa. We don't got Fred Warner. Brandon Ayuk ain't playing. Oh, Lord, pray for me. Anyway. I'm going to toast today to better decision making. I think I've probably already toasted to that before, but it's 2026. Why not? Right? Let's make better choices this year. Let's make better decisions this year. Decisions that would put us in better positions in life. that would better our lives, not tear our lives down. Kevin Fuller, you in a pickle, boy. You in a pickle. You in a trick bag. Your loved ones, your family, I'm praying you don't have children. I'm praying you don't have children. I tried my best to do as much research as I could on this story, and it's just not much out there. It's just not much out there. Probably because it's ongoing, I don't know. But you're in a bad situation because you made bad choices. I understand that you're young. But 2026, no more excuses. You being young don't mean nothing. You have people your age in other countries outside of America where we baby our young people. People your age in other places are leading military troops. They're vocal in government sectors. You know what I mean? So 19 is we can't keep creating excuses for us to do, I don't want to say, just foolish and act in a way of just buffoonery. Man, what you did to that lady was ugly. It was hateful. And I was reading something how they were talking about prisons are so bad, this and that and the third. But you know what? He made a comment, and once again, this is coming from a place of love. I want to see, prisons were supposed to originally be a place where people become, you go in there, you become reformed. Reform is a reformation. You better your mind, you better your spirit, you better your body. They have a law library. They have trade schools and programs. Get involved. Kelvin Fuller, listen to me. And this you may never hear this, but to the brother that's just like you, to the young woman that's just like you, listen to me. Get involved in one of those educations. If you have put yourself in this horrible situation that you're in, you're in a complex situation. It's too late now. It's no okay, can I redo it? No, it's over. You're going to prison, period. Get involved in one of those programs and reform your mind, transform your mind. Don't come out worse than when you went in. Right? Because you did make a comment that if you could, you would have finished the job. So prison is definitely for you. I'm sorry. No, I don't want my family going around, and you walking next to me. I don't want to shop in the store next to somebody with a mentality like that. I don't care what color you are. White, blue, brown, I don't care. I don't want to live in the same neighborhood and somebody's mentality is, because you disrespected me, I'm going to unalive you. And I don't care. I'm sorry. I know some people may say, well, you a black man talking about another black man. I don't care. I don't care if he was whatever. If I thought like that, you shouldn't want to live around me neither. Period. But I'm praying for you. I hope this turned out. Sometimes there's light at the end of a dark tunnel. Whatever your sentence is, I pray you find inner peace. And I really mean this. I'm not saying this because, I'm on a podcast. I want people to look. No. I really, really mean this from the bottom of my heart. Of course, I pray for the victim and her family. But this is the Two Sides of Truth podcast. So on the other side of this thing, man, I'm praying that you change your mind. Whatever's going on in your heart that ain't right, brother, give it to God, bro. Give it to God. The Bible says that, those who are in Christ are new creatures. You're still breathing, therefore you still have the opportunity to be a new creature. Anyway, I'm toasting to better choices. Young people, listen to me. Make better choices. 2026, make better choices, right? Anyway, God bless you. Don't let the devil stress you. And as always, I love you. And until next time, Godspeed. Peace. I love you guys. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.